Today guys, as a Halloween special, we're going to use minimal lighting and minimal gear to create a really creepy photo. So the first thing we need to do to this shot is get our model prepared. We used some corn syrup base and added some chocolate syrup and red dye to create some fake blood. We also added a little bit of makeup to create some bruising effects. To create a little bit of a creepier vibe, we lowered our light and aimed the flash upwards to remove all those shadows under the eyes. We wanted to add a little bit of definition to our model, so we placed a kicker light right behind her to give that image a little extra pop. To create a little more Halloween feel to the image, we wanted to change the color of that background light. So we just added a little red gel over the flash. To liven this image up a little bit, we placed the fog machine in the room. This spreads out the red kicker light and gives a much creepier atmosphere to our photo. Our final step to the image was to create a little dimension in the fog. We took a cardboard box and cut out some shapes. We then placed the box about 3 feet in front of the backlight. Now we just had to coach our model and get the right expression out of it. Once we got our final shot, we sent the image over to Lee to add a little bit of special effects in Photoshop.
All right, here's the final shot in Photoshop that we're gonna work with, and I also have a layer here that's some paint peeling that I got off of Google, and then here's like a grungy image that we're gonna use as well. I'm gonna grab this layer and duplicate it here. I'm going to hit Control L just to bring up my levels, and I'm going to darken up her face a little bit because it's a little bright. Hit OK. Then I'm going to come down here and click the Layer Mask button, and all I want to do is just darken her face. I don't want the rest to be dark, so I'm going to grab the paint bucket here and click to make everything black. You can see it made the layer mask here black, and then I'm going to pick the brush and I'm going to set this back to white, and I'm just going to paint in her face just so that it's a little bit darker there. And that's perfect there. Now, this is a little bit too saturated for my liking, so what I'm going to do is duplicate the layer again. I'm going to hit Control U, and what that's going to do is bring up hue and saturation, and I'm just going to take down the saturation on this shot. And again, all I'm trying to do is really deal with her skin. And once again, I'm going to hit the Layer Mask button. I'm going to pick the paint bucket, make it black here, and then I'm going to just paint white on her because I just want the color on her to be a little less. That's perfect. So what I want to do now is I want to make her skin look really creepy, like it's peeling off. And so what I'm going to do is grab this layer here of this paint. I'm going to hit Control T to transform, and I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit right where her face is, and I want to make sure that I can get this like everywhere that her skin is. So I'm just going to grab this layer, bring it to the duplicate button here, and then I'm just going to duplicate this around. Okay, I'm going to do it again, make sure that it's over her hand down here, and then her other hand, which is right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge all of these layers down by hitting Control E, Control E, Control E, and you can see this is just one layer now. If I wanted to, I could just move all of these around together. Now I'm going to change the blending option to overlay, and you can see this already made her look kind of creepy, but you'll notice that it made her skin a good bit brighter. So I'm going to hit Control L for levels, and I'm going to darken it up a little bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move this layer around just a little bit and see if we can get like the perfect placement on her head. Now what I'm going to do is add a layer mask again, get the paintbrush in black, and just paint out where we don't want it. And remember, if I accidentally go over a face there, I can just pick white here and paint it back. Very, very easy. This is why you're going to want to use a layer mask instead of just using the eraser tool. All we have to do is lower the opacity a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. And then of course what we can do too, if like this area on her hand looks like a little bit harsh, instead of black, we could just use a gray. Kind of soften it up a little bit. That looks great. Now what I'm going to do is grab this background here that I got offline. It's just like a paint background. I'm gonna spread it out with Control T for transform. Same thing, we're gonna just set it to overlay. and it's gonna make it kind of a grungy looking background. You can see that it did brighten it up a little bit. Again, I'm going to hit Control L for levels and just darken that up a bit. That's awesome. And then of course it's getting all over Chelsea here, so what we're going to do is another mask, choose black, and then just paint it off of Chelsea. Don't want it on her skin. But you know where it does look pretty cool is on her clothes right here. See how it makes them look dirtier? That she just crawled out of a well or something. So that's perfect, just like that. Now, if you want to add a little bit more of an effect to this entire thing, you can hit Control Shift Alt E. And as you can see here, it created a new layer on top with everything that's below it. So now we can do some effects to the entire image. I'm going to duplicate this again, and I'm just going to really darken this up. That looks awesome. And then if I want to bring back just some of the detail in her hair, what I'm going to do is create another mask right here and then just reveal some of the hair here.
Thanks for watching, and happy Halloween from Fstoppers.